Hello friends, is Botany next episode. In this episode, we will be discussing photosynthesis in higher plants, second part. And what all things we will be discussing in this episode. For that, I will share the screen. It will be convenient for you. I think screen came. So we can proceed. So second part of the photosynthesis in higher plants, almost 7 items we'll be discussing. Light, site of photosynthesis, chloroplast, pigments, structure of chlorophyll, chemical structure, action and absorption spectrum. So these all things we will be discussing in this episode. So we can start with the light. Light in different manner we can define. In optics, we will be studying in detail manner in physics. For us, simple definition, light is the visible part of electromagnetic radiation with a wavelength from 390 to 760 nanometer. Otherwise, 3900 to 7600 Armstrong. That is regarding light. But for photosynthesis, there is a required amount, and that is called photosynthetic active radiation, otherwise called PAR. That ranges between around 400 to 700 nanometer. Slight variations may be there. These may be the general values. Now next, site of photosynthesis, or NCERT heading is, where does photosynthesis takes place? No doubt it is in chloroplast cell as the basic unit of life. We studied it still. And chloroplast has got a double membrane covering. So two membrane covering like mitochondria. But in chloroplast, in addition to outer and inner membrane, there is a third internal membrane system called thylakoid. So two coverings, outer, inner, for that no doubt. But there is a third internal membrane system called thylakoid. Outer coverings will be two. I think that idea is clear. So outer covering two, outer membrane, inner membrane. Then besides these two, a third internal membrane system called thylakoid. And the main reactions taking place in chloroplast is light reaction and dark reaction. Light reaction where it takes place usually in thylakoid membrane associated with it. Dark reaction takes place in stroma of the chloroplast. Stroma of the chloroplast. That two area, I think it is clear. Now left side you can find NCERT diagram chloroplast. Here no need that much labeling still, because that we'll be studying in cell. But here there is a general representation how a chloroplast appears. What is grana? What is stroma? Stroma, lamellae, Fret membrane, thylakoid, granum, all this. I think first page is clear to all of you. So we can proceed to second page. Now we have to proceed with a heading called photosynthetic pigments. For that, we should know what is meant by pigments. Again, for pigments, different definitions are there. Common definition, pigments are substances that can absorb specific wavelength of light. Leaf pigments can be separated by different methods. NCERT gives a name that is called paper chromatography. Chroma. Chroma, all this means color. Graphy means analysis. So, color analysis. Details not mentioned there, only these two words, paper chromatography. Now, examples of pigments. Chlorophyll, carotenoid, anthocyanin, likewise, these all are pigments. Now, when we analyze a chromatographic event, we can find a chromatographic separation of chlorophyll pigments include chlorophyll B, A, xanthophyll, carotenoid. In the chromatographic paper, chlorophyll B will be at the bottom, above it chlorophyll A, above it xanthophyll, and top will be carotenoids. These colors of these separated pigments, there is a pattern of color. Chlorophyll B will be yellow-green, chlorophyll A will be blue-green, xanthophyll yellow, carotenoid yellow-orange. This is a match the following ascending descending order question. And among all these pigments, chlorophyll A is the primary photosynthetic pigment. I think that part is clear. Now we can proceed to structure of chlorophyll. When we discuss structure of chlorophyll, a basic term, it looks like a tadpole larvae. Tadpoles, we know, it has got a head portion, a tail portion, same manner. Chlorophyll has got a head portion, and the name of it is porphyrin head. And there is a long tail. It is called phytol tail. Porphyrin head, in their turn, made up of 4 pyrrole rings, tetrapyrrole, which are linked. Tail is made up of long chain alcohol, phytol tail. And magnesium can be seen at the center of the chlorophyll. I think that part is clear. Now, each part, porphyrin head and phytol tail. So first is porphyrin head. All chlorophylls usually have a complex ring structure. It is chemically related to porphyrin-like group as found in hemoglobin, cytochromes, etc. And what is the function of this porphyrin head? Porphyrin head is the site of electron rearrangement. 4 pyrrole rings, tetrapyrrolic arrangement with magnesium atom non-ionic. So I think that porphyrin head is clear to all of you. So all chlorophylls usually have a complex ring structure. It is chemically related to porphyrin-like group as found in hemoglobin, cytochromes, etc. Function. Porphyrin head is the site of electron rearrangement. There will be 4 pyrrole ring that is called tetrapyrroles. With the magnesium at the center, magnesium will be non-ionic atom. Now comes the tail portion. Phytol tail, it is long, tail-like, made up of hydrocarbons attached to the ring structure. And function of phytol tail, it attaches the chlorophyll to the hydrophobic portion of the thylakoid. So attaching with the base, basal part. So phytol tail, long, tail is hydrocarbon attached to ring structure at one end. Other end, that is function, attaches the chlorophyll to the hydrophobic portion of the thylakoid. I think that part is clear. Now we can proceed to next page. Now chemical nature. See, the word chlorophyll came from Greek words chloros. Chloros usually refers to green. Phylon, phylli, phyli, all these refers to leaf. So chlorophyll occurs, so its meaning is green leaf chlorophyll. Chlorophyll can occur in different forms or several forms. Chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B are the major types in higher plants and algae, green in color. Then chlorophyll C will be there, D is there, E is there, bacterial chlorophyll, etc. Many are available. Now regarding discovery structure, etc., chlorophyll was first isolated and named by J.B. Cavendish and P.J. Palacio, 1870. Chemistry of these photosynthetic pigments was first studied by Willstatter and Stoll, 1912. Connected with a tadpole-like configuration, porphyrin head and phytol tail. I think that part is clear. Now, next is precursor of chlorophyll. Precursor of chlorophyll, formation of chlorophyll is a lengthy reaction chain. So 1 or 2 chemicals, if you take as base compounds or a stage, we can find succinyl coenzyme A and glycine. Glycine is simplest amino acid. Succinyl coenzyme A is a Krebs cycle intermediate. So this succinyl coenzyme A glycine, from that we can find chlorophyll development in full swing takes place. Succinyl coenzyme A and glycine. Now for us, chlorophyll A and B has to study chlorophyll A. Molecular formula C55, H72, O5, and 4Mg. It's a major pigment, most abundant in green plants, fluctuations possible, and the functional group is methyl group. While chlorophyll B, C55, H70, O6, one oxygen is more, N4Mg. So chlorophyll B, hydrogen 2 less, so H70, oxygen 1 more comparison with the chlorophyll A. And chlorophyll B is accessory pigment. comparatively less abundant with the chlorophyll A. I told it can be fluctuating. And normally chlorophyll A, most abundant, and function group is aldehyde. That molecular formula, chlorophyll A C55 H72 O5 N4 Mg, chlorophyll B C55, carbon is same, H70, so 2 hydrogen less, O6, 1 oxygen more, then N4 Mg, comparing with the chlorophyll A. I think that part is clear. Now we will proceed to accessory pigments, additional, supporting. So chlorophyll A is the main pigment. Rest all pigments are called accessory pigments. And they have to do two main functions. One, they will absorb light energy and can be utilized for photosynthesis. Two, pigments like carotenoids will protect chlorophyll from excessive heat. This will help to escape from photooxidation or oxidative destruction by light to chlorophyll molecules. That is why carotenoid-like pigments often called shield pigments, protecting chlorophyll A. Now comes absorption spectrum and action spectrum. First, what is a spectrum? Again, you may be studied in physics. For us, a spectrum basically means range of colors which is produced when light passes through a glass prism or through a drop of water, splitting of light. And T.W. Engelmann studied action spectrum and absorption spectrum. You will be remembering historical account, cladophore and aerobic bacteria. So I think that part is clear. So we can proceed to next page. These diagrams connected with NCERT, common question for labeling, etc. So two spectrums we have to proceed. One is absorption spectrum, first one. Second is action spectrum. Third is action spectrum is superimposed, connected with the absorption spectrum of chlorophyll A. Three diagrams NCERT, it is a popular question, specifically first one to label. So we have to observe first one, absorption spectrum. So what is meant by absorption spectrum? So absorption spectrum means absorption, amount of energy of different wavelength of light absorbed by pigment. Absorbing a pigment absorbs specific wavelength or energy. So amount of energy of different wavelength of light absorbed by a pigment. Action spectrum. Action spectrum means original photosynthesis. Effect of different wavelength pigments on photosynthesis. So how much photosynthesis took place by absorbing specific wavelength by pigments. So action. I think that two words are clear. Theory question for 1 mark. Defined absorption spectrum and action spectrum. Scientist is Engelmann. We already know his name in historical account. After that, when we analyze the graph on the bottom side, two peaks you can find, and that is the area where maximum photosynthesis takes place. And that area is blue, violet, and red region. Maximum photosynthesis takes place, two peaks. I think that page is clear. Now we can proceed to next one. So here I mentioned a prefix with photo with a 5 terms. All the terms we'll be discussing in next episode. Photophosphorylation, photolysis, photosynthesis already you know, photooxidation, that is C2 cycle, otherwise photorespiration, C2 cycle we'll be studying in second episode from here. Now photosynthesis basically divided into two, light reaction, dark reaction. After that, 5 theory question, then followed by 5 NEET model question with the key. So I think it is clear. Now these are the main topics for us to discuss in this episode. Next episode, we'll be continuing with the cycles. So before it, that photolysis, that all terms we'll be discussing. So what all things we studied in this episode? Initially, topics, what we'll be discussing. Then we discussed about light. Then place where photosynthesis takes place. Then pigments, different pigments, chlorophyll B, A, xanthophyll, carotenoid, chromatography, and which is the main photosynthetic pigment, chlorophyll A. Then structure of chlorophyll, porphyrin head and phytol tail. tetrapyrrole system, magnesium at the center, tail is phytol tail, attaching chlorophyll to hydrophobic portion of the thylakoid, and structure appears like a tadpole. Then we entered into chemical structure. Meaning of the term, then scientist, isolated, then chemistry, Wilstetter and Stoll, then precursor of chlorophyll, succinyl coenzyme and glycine, then two main chlorophyll A and B differences. Chlorophyll A is supposed to be major and most abundant, fluctuation possible. Normally, chlorophyll A most abundant. Then accessory pigments, of which the shield pigment carotenoid. Then absorption spectrum and action spectrum by Engelmann. What is absorption? What is action? Action refers to photosynthetic event. Absorption means pigments and absorbing different wavelengths. Then third graph is two graphs will be absorption action will be superimposed. Then maximum energy or maximum efficiency for photosynthesis, blue, violet, and red region, and that are the two peaks represented. Then we discussed about certain terms like photophosphorylation, lysis, photosynthesis, photooxidation, photorespiration. Then two basic reactions of photosynthesis, light reaction, dark reaction. Then 5 theory question as usual, followed by 5 NEET model question with the key. Hoping that it is able to follow. If you like these episodes, subscribe all, like it, share it, comment on it. We can meet later. Thank you.